Budweiser. We prepare for another good matchup here today versus the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and the Westside Woolly Mammoths as this push to the playoffs continues here on the USPBL Network. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here today. Overall, it's a big day for a lot of reasons. The Mammoths need a win. The Hoppers feeling like they need a win now because people breathing down their back all of a sudden.
Yeah, technically they're not in first place. You know, they're tied with the Unicorns. The Unicorns have the tiebreaker from winning the regular season. So for the first time in September, the Hoppers are not in first place. I would venture to say that this is really a bigger game for the Hoppers even than the Mammoths. The Mammoths are really going to have to climb out of a hole here to get to the number 2 seed. You know, chances are they're probably somewhere 3 or 4 seed unless they really finish strong and get a little bit lucky along the way too.
Talked to Jim Essian just a few minutes ago, and the one thing that he said about Nolan Clenny, he's, quote, a rock. And, you know, we've heard it from him, Justin Orenduff, even some of the players. He wouldn't be here if there's a minor league season. That's just how good he's been. 50 pitches last night, a guy who really only throws 1 inning consistently. You've seen lately in the last 5, it's his 3rd over an inning and a third, but we're talking 3 almost innings last night.
It's those tough Detroit Catholic League guys, right? we like those guys. But no, he's great. He's a bulldog. You know, those closers, they have to be obviously physically very strong and tough, but also mentally tough. And, you know, both of those things go into an outing like that. It wasn't ideal. They were sort of pinned in the corner there at the end. There wasn't much they could do. He had to take the ball and go with it. He did, and got a very big win for the Unicorns.
And it's almost like you drew it up. The rain coming down, the extra innings, gutting it through. Maybe that's what it takes to win a championship again this year in such a crazy time.
Caught a break on a fly ball in the rain to Jamal Howard that, you know, that should have been an out and got him another run. You got to catch breaks too. There's no teams that win championships in baseball that don't catch breaks, and there might have been a couple in there, but Unicorns pretty well positioned right now.
Let's take a peek at your starting lineups here today, presented by AAA of Michigan. As always, first for the visiting Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Greg Vaughn Jr. back up at the leadoff spot for the 2nd time this year and playing left field. Talk about that a little bit more in a second. Riley Mahalik batting 2nd and DHing here today. Xavier Warren, Zach Gray, Adam De La Cruz in the meat of Paul Nochi's lineup here today. Trevor McKinley bats 6th and plays right field. Jordan Pontius, Miles Miller, and Jake Hoover rounding it out as they face number 9, Ryan Andrazik. On the other side, more on him and our pitcher comparison later, presented by Denzo. As for the home Westside Woolly Mammoths here today, their lineup also brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Alec Olin leading it off. He's been walking a little bit more and been a hot hitter in the last 10 games or so, hitting .303. Will Johnson bats 2nd and plays left field. Lamar Briggs had a big night yesterday, bats 3rd and plays 3rd base again here today out of need. Scott Capers in the cleanup spot and catching. Isaiah Cullum back in there, continues to elevate himself in the lineup above Ross Haffey again here today in the DH spot. Haffey follows Landon Barnes, Keandre Jones, and Andrew McCoy. Rounded out here today as Jamon Taylor takes the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Greg Vaughn Jr. leadoff spot. We like it, don't we?
Wait, did we come up with that?
I think we might have. Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that we came up with it. No, of course, you know, Paul Nochi looked at his team. He looked at the numbers, the stats, you know, saw how much Greg Vaughn Jr. was getting on base. He's a little bit of a hot bat lately, too. Makes all the sense in the world. You know, the other couple of guys they had in that spot weren't quite consistent enough, especially just with on-base percentage overall, so makes a lot of sense. Really helps this lineup, and I, you know, you really look at that first 4 or 5 in their order. It's pretty tough.
Time for our Southeast Michigan Ford dealers keys to the game. Dan, what do you got today?
Well, I hate to be real general, and I also hate to focus on pitching because it's just it's so obvious. But you know, the Mammoths are really thin right now, coming off of yesterday's game. They used everybody in their bullpen yesterday, with the exception of John Murphy, who has been struggling a little bit lately with his command. Ryan Andrazik also had a couple of tough outings recently and had some trouble with his command also. One of those guys or both really are going to have to step up today and give some serious innings. If Andrazik can have a good start where he throws a lot of strikes, gets some easy contact outs, that type of thing, then the Mammoths will have a chance to win this game. But their margin for error is very minimal, you know, and they're really going to have to get a quality start out of him because of the 9 innings last night using everybody.
Well, the bright lights tomorrow on one of the better pitching matchups you'll see this year was sparkling in the last couple of games. Garrett Crispin and Ty Hensley going at it again as the Beavers and the Unicorns play a pretty important game in and itself.
Yeah, don't get up and grab a snack or anything when you sit down to watch that one. That one
You may miss 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, that could be over quick. Yeah, those guys are exciting to watch. They're a little bit different. You know, Ty is got that major league pedigree, you know, with the big fastball and the power curve. And Garrett's maybe a little more overlooked just because he doesn't really sit at 90 with that fastball consistently, but he's got just perfect mechanics and terrific command, and he mixes everything for strikes and hits his spots, and he's just a pleasure to watch. Works quick. You know, that's going to be a good one, and you know, if we could watch that for another couple of years, I would I would love it, but we're not going to, because those guys are gonna move on at some point.
Well, it's the Hoppers and the Mammoths here today. It's the first of a back-to-back for the Mammoths. Let's see how they respond off a tough loss last night in extra innings as well after picking up no points in general. Looked like they might end up tying the Unicorns the way things were going and the pitching shaked out, but the Unicorns squeaking out a tight victory. More when we get back on this matchup.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
United Shore Professional Baseball League action presented by Budweiser here tonight and proudly sponsored by the following: AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, the Detroit Medical Center, DTE Energy, Dunham Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Green for Life Environmental, Green Path Financial Wellness, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Summit Oral, in United Shore. We thank all those fine sponsors for what they do for this league and this playoff push as well. Time to take a peek at your pitcher comparison brought to you by Denso. Here tonight, it's Jamon Taylor going for the Hoppers and Ryan Andresic for the Mammoths.
Jamon Taylor really looked like a guy who was going to settle in at the top of the rotation here for the Hoppers. Last time out on the 7th, struggled a little bit in a loss to the Beavers. Had lesser control, and his velocity was a little bit down than from some of those previous outings. So we'll see what he gives us tonight. He's certainly has the ability to lead this Hoppers team in the rotation. Tonight's game will be big as far as setting their potential postseason rotation, seeing what they get out of him.
It feels a little bit more like fall today all of a sudden.
It does. It does. Well, you know, high school football tomorrow, right?
Yeah, and today a little bit. I think there's at least a few games here today. One of the better games in the state, Orchard Lake St. Mary's going against Walled Lake Western as well. That should be one to follow. But, yeah, it's feeling more like September baseball. And we have the playoffs a week from tomorrow starting. We're certainly excited about that. We'll carry all 3 games here on the USPBL Network. Friday at 7, Saturday at 7, and then Sunday at 1 o'clock for all the marbles in the USPBL Championship. Big game between these two teams for different reasons. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get back here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
We really were fortunate to get out when we did. Losing our family photos, our wedding pictures, can't replace it.
Can you imagine losing everything you've got? You realize that it's the little things in life that matter. Things that they thought were damaged and thrown away, all of a sudden they magically reappear. And you see the human spirit come back.
It's our pictures.
To be able to put you safely back in your home matters to us. People matter. People count. At Balfour, we're restoring more than property.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
What makes Detroit Mercy so unique is the fact that it's in the middle of
Detroit, and especially with their service learning programs, you really get a chance to be a part of the community.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
And the playoffs right upon us here today. Another big game here tonight. Feels like a playoff game overall. The implications that these two teams bring into this matchup, and the home Westside Woolly Mammoths take the field now.
Well, it really does feel that way. If you look at it, whoever loses this game really damages their chance of the seed that they're going for. I think if the Hoppers lose this one, it's going to be very hard for them to get the #1 seed, and that's what they're hoping for at this point. And I think if the Mammoths lose this one, I think there's no question that they're going to be playing on Friday. So it has every reason to feel like a playoff game.
Ryan Andrazik better his last time out on September 11th versus the Unicorns last week. 3 1/3, 2 hits given up, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Good job by Dazon Cole to kind of bail him out a little bit with the bases loaded jam.
Oh, definitely. That was a very key appearance. Another situation with a high-end reliever coming into a high-leverage situation in the middle of the ball game, which we've seen more and more as the push for the playoffs has developed here. Andrazik's really a guy who relies on command and mixing up his pitches well. His fastball is going to sit in the high 80s. Has a slider that he throws about a quarter of the time, change up about 20% also. Has a curveball that's slower, but really doesn't throw that very much. But he's a guy who needs to mix up his pitches and throw everything for strikes. And on the occasions when he's done that, he's done a decent job.
Jared Wright, Tasker Strobel, Dante Glover, Anthony Travato, and Dazon Cole all throwing yesterday. So the bullpen not in great order for Paul Nickabrugga's squad here tonight. You'd think you'd automatically rule out Travato, no matter what happens, due to the amount of pitches he threw. But
Yes.
the other guys, I think, could potentially throw some innings tonight if need be.
I think anyone could go in theory, but I think you want to go to John Murphy first and then see what happens from there. There's not much to save it for at this point, I guess. I mean,
and you're potentially going to have to pitch back-to-back no matter what happens,
right,
unless you get that
forward.
#1 seed.
Right. The Mammoths have quite a hill to climb now if they're trying to get out of the game on Friday.
So Greg Vaughn Jr., his second game in the leadoff spot for Paul Nochi's team, at least to my memory. He started game 1 of the doubleheader last Saturday that way and then was moved down. That was not because of performance, just because of what the plan was.
Right.
Wanted to try him out there at the leadoff spot. He responded very well.
Yep.
Ultimately led the Hoppers to a victory as he looks at a ball inside.
So this would be his first regular game, 7-inning game in that spot.
Yep. First pitch at 7:03 tonight. Game time temperature a little bit chillier than yesterday, 64 degrees. Capers looking to pull back into strike. It remains outside. 2-1 on Greg Vaughn Jr. here. Andrazik, 5'10", 165 out of Canton, Ohio. Oland. He's moved all around recently. We've seen him play a good amount of games at third base because they've since moved Briggs to the outfield. He is playing third base today again out of need, but he played a pretty good center field in his 3 or 4 games out there.
It's so funny when you're playing out of position how often the first ball will find you like that. It's just, I remember when, well, I don't remember because I'm not this old, believe it or not, but the first ball of the World Series in 1968 went to Mickey Stanley when he was playing shortstop, when he was a center fielder the whole year, and I believe he kicked it. I think he booted the first ball.
Not too bad after that, though.
No, not bad.
The moves that some managers make that just work when, I'm sure talk radio wasn't a huge thing back then, but that would be
right.
all over the scene.
Right.
No matter where you are, if you're in a big media market. 1-1, popped up to left. Johnson for out number 2. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense behind Ryan Andrzejczyk here tonight. Brought to you by AAA. Johnson in left, McCoy in center, Jones in right, Briggs and Haffey on the corners, Barnes and Oland up the gut, with Scott Keepers completing the battery here today. Xavier Warren hitting third again here today. We've started to see this bat perk up a little bit, which we thought we would. His average before his 5-game hitting streak, which he rides into tonight, was just 203. It's now 240, which for a guy who's got a decent amount of at-bats is a pretty significant jump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we thought water would find its level as it comes to him. He's just too talented.
Two 2-0 on Xavier Warren here. Ryan Andrzejczyk trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. That's pretty significant because he fell behind 3-1 to Greg Vaughn Jr. And in general, Greg Vaughn will take his walks, so more often than not lately, he's getting on base when he's in a 3-1 count.
Right.
Good job, though. He also fell behind Xavier Warren 2-0, able to get a line out to left center field. McCoy ranging the center field ground here today, able to collect the third out. Back with more after this.
As we continue to respond to COVID-19 in our communities, Ascension, Michigan is with you in this, and we are doing what matters to keep you safe in our care. At our hospitals and sites of care across the state, Ascension, Michigan has additional safeguards in place. We are limiting visitors, ensuring proper social distancing in our waiting rooms, offering more online visits, and performing rigorous procedures to clean and disinfect. Our care teams are delivering babies and performing surgery. Now more than ever, it's important not to delay your health care. Schedule your appointments. Make sure children are getting their vaccinations. And if you have an emergency, don't wait. Go straight to your closest Ascension ER. Thank you for continuing to protect yourself and our community by washing your hands, wearing a face covering, and social distancing. Our doctors, nurses, and staff are ready for you when you need us. This is what we do best.
Start to finish, Crest Lincoln offers an interactive shopping experience ready when you are at crestlincoln.com. Explore our inventory and we'll provide you with a wide range of options so you can lease or purchase your next Lincoln remotely. Our online process allows you to complete the entire purchase from virtually anywhere. Plus, our team of experts are standing by ready to help. When it's time for service, we'll provide you with a Lincoln loaner clean and sanitized. At crestlincoln.com, we're ready for you on your terms. Visit us online today.
Javon Taylor with an important start here today. The 6-foot-tall, 175-pound righty out of Florida here today for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
He's a guy who has a pretty good arm. You know, he can regularly run his fastball up there, 90-91. Has a nice slider and a changeup as well. Doesn't throw the change a ton, but the key for him is his fastball. He really throws it a lot, and when he's able to command it down in the zone especially, he's been very effective for the Hoppers this year.
Last start versus the Beavers on the 7th, a 4-inning outing. Gave up 5 hits and 3 runs. All of them earned in 83 pitches overall.
That, I'd say, his best outing of the year. He was just incredibly efficient, just first pitch ground ball after ground ball, got a lot of contact outs. He's not a big swing and miss guy overall. He gets 10 to 15% swing and miss on his pitches, but he has the tendency to work quick and get some quick outs when he's going good.
Alec Olden, Will Johnson, Lamar Briggs, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the first inning for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Alec Olin quietly moving back up to the leadoff spot for this Mammoths team. More walks than strikeouts in his last 10. 7 walks compared to 4 Ks. Dug himself in a pretty big hole average-wise at the beginning of the year, but up to 191. This one is in for strike 1. And for a guy that's hitting .303 in his last 10, scoring 6 runs, why not try him back at the leadoff spot? There's not a lot of true leadoff hitters on this team.
No, there's not. He's a pretty useful player. I mean, just considering the places he plays and his speed.
Nice inside-out swing there to flop it the other direction for a leadoff hit here in the first. Now Will Johnson looking to get it moving here. 194 in the average column. Has shown some extra base pop, a couple doubles, a triple, a home run. This is a guy who hit for some major power and had some major speed in his last 2 years at Division I ball. Just ran into a few unfortunate things. Got here later than he would have liked, first off, and then dealt with the wrist pretty much since the All-Star game and on through the month of August. Pretty much to the first week of September. It's started to feel better recently. Didn't really affect his outfield plays. Played a pretty solid left field most of the time, a few times in center. Not necessarily flashy out there. I mean, he's made his fair share of nice plays, a couple at the wall, a few diving, but that's not a bad thing. It's
right.
When attention is on you, usually
if you go unnoticed in the outfield, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. I guess there's 2 ways of attention. One because you're flashy, and the other because you're making a bunch of errors.
Sure. Sometimes guys that appear flashy, it's a result of being out of position to begin with, or getting a bad jump or a bad route. So you can't trust your eyes all the time as it comes to the outfield.
Leadoff single against Jamon Taylor here in a 2-2 count on Will Johnson. He's evened out his walks and strikeouts. 12 walks to 14 Ks coming into tonight. Lamar Briggs waiting on deck. Then it would be Scott Capers. Briggs, Capers, Cullum. The heart of the order here tonight. Ooh. Wipeout slurve to the exterior of the plate has Johnson guessing.
Doesn't throw it very much, as I said earlier, and sometimes when you don't throw a pitch very often, the hitter almost forgets about it. And that's the type of swing he took there, like he forgot about it.
I mean, his 72% fastball, 20% slurve, 8% change. If he is a guy who can, be stretched out and start, he could probably benefit to either a 4th pitch or just having one of those other ones be more frequent.
Yeah, I think he would probably increase the frequency on those.
0-1 on Lamar Briggs here. One of the more liked guys, certainly around the USPBL, is Jamon Taylor. Coppin State University graduate. Big time arm there, broke some records. JT O'Brien on YouTube asks, where is this league located? It's located in Utica, Michigan, kind of the outskirts of Metro Detroit. I guess you could still consider Utica Metro Detroit.
It's Metro Detroit, yeah. Tri-county area.
1-1 is down low and inside. 2-1. JT, where are you watching? Maybe you'll scratch off one of our states.
Yeah.
We have what? Is it 8
on
left or something like that? We've reached.
I thought it was 10. No? Did we cut into that? I'll look at the most recent map.
I feel like we did yesterday. We cut into a few, I think.
Okay.
10 countries, I think we're at as well. Runner in motion. This one outside. Warren with a great throw. Just waiting for that tag on the bag. And just like that, Pontius erases the leadoff single.
Not even close. Smile for Mullen. He had no chance there.
Check the defense, the rest of the defense behind Jamon Taylor, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Vaughn and McKinley on the corners. Miller patrolling center today. De La Cruz and Gray on the corners. Pontius and Hoover up the middle. And Xavier Warren behind the plate.
Well, let's see. We're missing Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island. So those 4. Arkansas, Iowa, North Dakota, New Mexico. So 8.
Trying to sell us short.
Yep, you're right. And I almost missed Rhode Island. It's so small in there.
Scott Capers, the catcher, hitting .296 coming into play here today. Lunged at that one and hit it foul. Alan Oakes comments on YouTube, who do you think will finish with the batting average title?
Good question.
I guess the first question is, what's the minimum ABs that you can have to qualify?
Right.
Because there's some guys who've come in at different levels in terms of, whether it was a tryout or just added towards the end. Zach Gray going to be up there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of tremendous batting averages across the league. I mean, nobody on the Hoppers Club is at 300. Mammoths, Lamar Briggs, and Scott Capers are in the 290s. That would be the top for them.
Oh, good scoop over there by Gray to keep that one out in front. John Hodo, not sure.
Yeah, Hodo may not qualify, but that's a good call.
Luska is right up there. He was 0 for last night, so that won't help.
Yeah, Comer with the Beavers is in the 290s also, but I don't. Oh.
Saw it over the head of Pontius. Coming up with it is McKinley, and that will put runners on first and third here with 2 outs.
And we'll have to recalculate Capers.
Probably over the 300 mark for sure.
Yeah, so, nobody's over 300 except Hodo. And so I guess it does come back to that. How do you qualify in terms of minimum at-bats?
Isaiah Cullum working on a 5-game hitting streak. He's gotten his average up to 237. Certainly become a line drive hitter as this season has gone on. When he started his hot streak, he only had like 20 ABs.
Right. Yeah, it was very sparse playing time. A lot of those catchers were taxi squad, for the first month or more, and they were shifting around to different teams. It was tough for him to get a lot of playing time.
Anybody can certainly benefit from the additional playing time.
Yeah, it's so important with hitting. The hardest job in baseball is the guy who DHs once a week or something like that. It's awfully hard to be productive.
Not so easy as a catcher, too, right?
No, catcher's hard, too, yeah.
Popped up down the right field line. McKinley is scooting foul. Backup catcher is certainly an undervalued position because sometimes you see a catcher, not so much in this league, I don't think. Sometimes you see one guy foul around a Ty Hensley or vice versa, but...
Yeah, Finney's kind of a classic backup catcher right now for Utica.
But you see sometimes for a major league team, there is a primary catcher that catches a guy, and oftentimes it's one of your better pitchers.
Like, oh man, his name's escaping me with the Cubs when they won it a couple years ago. Ross.
Yep, now the manager.
Right.
2-2 on Isaiah Cullum. I feel like Justin Verlander had a personal. Was it Holiday back in the day, maybe?
Good question. Might have been. I mean, he wasn't. I don't even know if Holiday caught enough to be in that category.
Swing and a miss by Cullum here. And that will retire the side. Good job to Strand, the leadoff single. The one-out walk and the one-out single as well to Scott Capers. Now time for Freaky Fast Trivia presented by Jimmy John's here tonight. What do we got?
I don't know, but I've been bad lately.
What does IPA mean when referring to beer?
I should get this one.
Go ahead. What do you got?
India Pale Ale.
You sure?
B, yes.
Sure it's not pure alcohol?
Nope. India Pale Ale.
Yes.
Okay. At least I got the beer question.
Kid of the game, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Liliana Eastman here today, attends West Middle School. 10 years old, enjoys swimming.
It's good
hanging out with her dog there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Are you a good swimmer?
Not really.
No,
I mean, I took lessons. I actually took lessons at the Grosse Pointe pool.
Did you?
Yeah.
The Woods
Yep.
Park? Okay.
And one of my friends from grade school had a membership over there. So I don't remember how many years I did that, but so I know how to. I'm not going to sink all the way potentially, but not something I keep up with.
Right. Well enough to survive?
Yes, hopefully. Ryan Andrzejczyk coming out for his second inning of work. All contact in the first, but all outs as well.
Yeah, it means he's throwing strikes, which is a good sign early on here.
There's that guy, JJ. So Andrzejczyk with a ground down off the bat of Vaughn Jr., then the line out for Mahalik and the line out from Xavier Warren overall as well.
Leading off the top of the second inning, the first baseman, number 22, Zach Gray.
So the aforementioned Zach Gray will start out this second inning. 271, 14 runs scored, 21 runs driven in.
Is he still tied for the home run lead?
He is one over.
He's one up, okay.
Yeah, 6-5 between him and Ross Haffey.
Okay.
Pretty nasty slider, just couldn't locate it. The pitch before. 2-1 on Zach Gray here. And Andrzejczyk likes to get in that rhythm. As most guys who throw 86, 89 in this league like to do it in general, I think is the case. If you're not going to blow them away with the fastball, you got to find other ways to make them off balance. And a guy with a deep arsenal can do that as well. He surrenders his first base runner via the free pass. The 16th walk of the year for Gray. Now Adam De La Cruz try to continue his good stretch lately.
So he kind of dropped down in the order as part of this shuffling with Mahalik moving up to the 2 spot.
De La Cruz hasn't captured a lot of hits lately, but he does have 5 walks in his last 5. 4 out of his last 5 games he has coaxed a walk. Elevates the fastball at 86 there. Gets De La Cruz to swing and miss.
got it up and in just enough. Just sort of proof positive that even with a very average fastball, if you locate it correctly, you can still throw it by people. It's another good spot there.
So De La Cruz with an average of 250, 6 doubles on the year. Not seen him hit one out of the park quite yet. But when he's going best, he's hitting it gap to gap. More of a doubles guy in terms of his power.
The Red Sox fan from the Bronx.
Yep. Manny Ramirez fan. What's he doing overseas? Did that season start wherever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wherever he was supposed to play.
I didn't keep up with that one.
It was in the last few weeks that
Adam and I did talk about how he's a better defensive player than his idol, though.
he'd do some quirky things, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah.
Going in the Green Monster.
Cutting off a throw from a fellow outfielder. Not realizing a ball was hit to him because he was concentrating on the earbuds that were playing his favorite music that he had in.
I don't remember that one.
That
during a game?
Yeah, that happened during a game. I don't know that the public knew at the time exactly what caused the what happened, but he just flat out didn't pursue a fly ball that was hit in his direction. He just never saw it.
2-2 on Adam De La Cruz. Good rip, but just fouled it back.
I can't imagine being casual enough about playing the game to just be listening to music, you know, during a Major League Baseball game. I was never good enough to do that at any level. You know, I was concentrating 110%, just trying not to embarrass myself.
Can't argue with the numbers, though. 555 career homers, 312 in the batting average column, 1,800 RBIs.
He was menacing. Do not want to see him step into the batter's box. A couple of those years with the Dodgers, he was just scary.
Signed with the Dodgers, 36 years old. For a power guy, I mean, 1,300 career walks, 1,800 strikeouts. It's not entirely bad.
No. He had a pretty good idea what he was trying to do in there. How many total home runs did he get?
555.
Okay. Pretty impressive.
Down to second. Not in time. The strikeout is called to Adam De La Cruz. Good battle. And Zach Gray able to swipe the bag. Gray looks a little hobbled after that.
He does. He's kind of sort of grabbing his hammy, it looks like. It looks like he ripped his pants.
Didn't look like the most comfortable slide. Let's get a second look at it here. Look at the tail end. I mean, he didn't come to the normal pop-up. I think that's what he was looking to do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able to kind of lift himself up the way he wanted to and ended up still on the ground. So he'll stay in the game for now. Brings up Trevor McKinley, and before that, Scott Capers will take a visit.
Sort of an aside to what we talked about. Now that there's so much instant replay, a lot of times when you watch a steal where a guy goes feet first into second, at some point he comes off the bag.
True.
And I can't help but wonder, you know, if you decided to challenge every play like that, would you see a guy coming off the bag at some point if you kept the tag on him, and should that be an out?
It's an interesting thought. I mean, the neighborhood play is gone.
Right.
With the
maybe that
infielders.
Should be another exception, you know, if somebody comes off the bag just in the normal process of a slide.
Never thought about it. 1-1 on McKinley as the changeup is delivered outside here by Andrzezic. Four doubles and a home run for this left-handed bat. Ooh, awkward pick back to second. Gray is back. 1-2 on Trevor McKinley. It has not been an easy stretch so far for Andrzejczyk. He's fallen behind 3 hitters so far. He's gotten outs on every one of them besides the Zach Gray walk, who stands at second base.
Capers is really fun to watch in the way he blocks the ball. He's just so nonchalant about it. You know, he's just in position. And by nonchalant, I don't mean anything negative. It's just, it doesn't take a lot of effort for him to get himself into the right position, it looks like.
Swing and a miss. Nice change of speeds there. Got him on the changeup for his second strikeout in a row. Now Jordan Pontius will be the last shot with the leadoff walk, standing at second base here. Reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube. Tell us where you're watching. We want to hear that, certainly, as we get closer and closer to the end of the year.
And if you have some friends in Rhode Island, give them a call. Rhode Island or North Dakota or New Mexico.
That's a wide range. First pitch to Jordan Pontius, falling up on the hands with an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, and that one's fouled off. For whatever reason, kind of didn't notice it real time, but checking the YouTube monitor, which is, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seconds behind the real feed, these pitchers have been having a tough time keeping the dirt out of their cleats lately.
They have.
Anything to attribute to that?
Not necessarily. For some reason, it's softer around the mound. I don't know if it's just been the more rain that we've had recently.
Field in general looks pretty good.
It does. The grass looks good.
Good job by Capers to maybe subtly pull that one back in.
Mm-hmm. You really want to try to get your hand around the outside of that ball. Stick it right there on the corner.
How do you work on framing?
I like to try and work on it with no glove. You know, just toss balls to a catcher and see what his hand positioning is like. You can really see the hand positioning better without the glove. You want to get your hand on the outside of the ball when it's side to side. That's really the key on the side to side ball, is always to have your hand positioned on the outside.
Popped him up. Keepers. Wow,
Oh.
Slides and makes that play.
A little miscommunication. I think initially he thought Haffey was going to go get it, but recovered in time.
Now time for your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot here today.
Tonight's contestant is Elise.
All right, Ribby.
Will face off against Ribby in a race to home plate. We're going to let Ribby get ahead.
So Elise and Ribby here today.
Mark it, set, go.
Ribby getting the head start.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elise.
Oh, Ribby missed second base. Maybe they can appeal that later.
Shots in the wheels. Look at that stride.
Yeah, that's a pretty good stride.
Comes around second. Ribby around third. Elise gaining ground.
Ribby looking nervous here.
Yeah, he's getting gained on. Mm-hmm.
And right by him there. Nice job by Elise. Your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot here on the USPBL Network.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new, efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/saveenergy. DTE Energy.
Javon Taylor back on the mound here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He saw some definite traffic on the base pass in that first inning. Leadoff single, nice approach by Alec Oldland on an 0-1 pitch, then struck out Will Johnson. Olin was eventually thrown out, trying to steal at second base. It was a really nice throw by Xavier Warren overall, and a good tag by Pontius as he just waited for Olin to approach him. Then the 1-out or 2-out walk at that point by Lamar Briggs. The single by Capers puts runners on first and third, and the strikeout to Isaiah Cullum ended the threat.
Warren's always had the good arm, but you can tell he's starting to get more comfortable behind the plate overall. His blocking, his receiving, accuracy of his throws.
First pitch to Ross Haffey, a slurve that remains high. Kind of a swirling wind here today. It's kind of coming right back at us.
Yes, I feel it.
In the press box. The windows open.
Starting to wish I went with the longer pants like you did.
You're going to have to give that up, Dan.
Trying to make it through Sunday, that's all.
It felt all right earlier. I almost wore shorts.
I was the guest of Chesterfield this morning at the State of Chesterfield breakfast, and I wore a suit for the first time since COVID.
Really?
Yes. I was worried about remembering how to tie the tie, but it worked out okay. I guess
That's good.
Sort of like riding a bike.
You didn't have one of those fake zip-ups, did
Oh,
you?
no.
Foul down the third base line. Used to have to wear a tie every day to school, so that's something hopefully I never forget.
Sure. You a D Jesuit? You wear a tie every day?
Yep.
Really? No Friday specials or nothing?
I mean, you have your spirit days mixed in there, but that's about it.
Wow.
Sport coats on mass days as well. 2-2 on Haffey.
Grosse Pointe South, we did wear the ties underneath the football jersey, though, on those days.
Haffey fouls that one off. His high school football team has a big game week 1 against a rival, Warren De La Salle, down at Wayne State on Saturday.
Should I assume he played football for Rice, as big as he is?
You know, I think so. I can't completely remember. He played hockey. He was a bruiser out in the...
Oh, I bet.
Very talented. He actually had some junior offers, some good ones.
Wow. Well, he got tied up on that fastball in there. Well placed fastball by Taylor.
Been running into the Haffeys on the concourse lately. Mom and Dad.
Dad a big guy?
Not as much as Ross, but this one in for strike 1 on Landon. It's something, though. I mean, you can see not hockey skills per se, but you could see why he could move on skates, the way he moves at the corner infield positions.
Mm-hmm. Is he a defenseman?
Believe so. Popped up down the first base line. Gray runs out of room. 0-2 on Landon Barnes.
I'd like to see high school hockey in the state of Michigan become a bigger thing.
There's some good hockey around for sure.
Seems like there's only a small percentage of schools that have it. Of course, there's a lot of cost involved and ice time and equipment and all that kind of thing.
It is a different game in terms of that.
You end up seeing some pretty good-sized schools in, the bottom division of hockey, just because of it's really sorted out differently than the other sports.
And just a few schools here locally that have their own rink.
Right. Liggett has one. I don't know very many.
Orchard Lake St. Mary's has one.
Okay.
1-2 high. 2-2 on Landon Barnes. Cindy Boyce says, "Let's go, Ryan," from Canton, Ohio here today. Welcome everybody else watching here as well. Yeah, the wind technically now, as we look at the flags, is almost blowing in.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen that much. I mean, partly probably because of all those trees surrounding, really, from the left center field gap to right center field. Surrounding the ballpark and kind of separating the edge of the banks of the Clinton River. Another chance for Gray. Got it this time.
Nice job.
Two up and two down against Jamon Taylor. That's exactly what he wanted to do here in the second.
He's got 3 Ks, right, so far?
He's got 3, yep.
Yeah, that's a high percentage of strikeouts for him. He's usually more of a contact out kind of a pitcher.
I tell you what, it's already 7:40, but this game feels like it's labored on a little bit more. There's been some good ABs. Just haven't had a lot of results thus far. There's a slurve on the first pitch. It remains high.
Well, just in general, the at-bats this year did improve over time, which we certainly expected.
Allen is asking all the tough questions here today. He says, who are your picks for MVP and Pitcher of the Year? That could be the same person.
Maybe. Yeah, we'd have to take a close look at the stats. There's certainly been a lot of good pitchers. Ty, of course, probably leading the way statistically. How do we handle that in this league? Do you vote after the playoffs for MVP, or is it like MLB, you vote before the playoffs?
It's a good question. I've not had a lot of postseason experience yet with the USPBL, and actually we just got a whisper in our ear. It's going to come out on Friday, so with that in mind.
Okay, so it's regular season only. All right.
Next Friday, okay. So right before the playoffs.
Right.
So, I mean, some of that could go into the remaining starter 2.
Sure.
According to playoff seeding.
I mean, statistically, it's pretty hard to beat Ty Hensley, I think. Although some of the relievers have really good stats.
Garrett Crispin right there lately.
Yep. He's just been on the losing end of more games.
Sure.
Still, you look at Ty, 8-1 with a 1.07. 71 Ks to 22 walks, which the 22 walks I think is higher than you would want still, but still very impressive.
You look at MVPs of these, teams by themselves. For the Hoppers, Zach Gray kind of up there offensively.
I mean, I think it's tough, at least for me. I think the pitching was just really strong this year. It would be tough to pick a position player for me over a pitcher for MVP, unless you're specifically designating that it has to be a position player.
Outside, and a patient at bat by Keandre Jones as he gets on. Just his 5th walk of the year to 22 strikeouts. He's done that a little bit more lately. He's also gotten hit at a pretty big clip.
He has. He gets hit a lot.
He snapped a 4-game hit by pitch streak last game where he only had a couple ABs. I mean, he came in as a pinch hitter.
Had multiple in one game, right? Was it two?
Yeah.
2 in one of those games?
2 in 2 of them. He runs at a decent clip, so this might be something to watch. 2 speedy guys. One at the plate, one on first base. 2 outs in the second inning. 2 hits and 2 walks recorded thus far for the Mammoths. Gray has been asked to pick that one quite a bit here tonight on the pickoffs from Jamon Taylor. Ryan Drazik thus far is still not giving up a hit. He's had some battles of ABs, leadoff walk in the second otherwise. The other 6 he's faced have been set down. McCoy, and then the top of the order in Alec Olin. He's your Zach Hart agency man on deck. Nice swing his first time up with the single floating the opposite direction. They shade McCoy to left, pokes it that way. De La Cruz stretches out. Good arm, and got him for out number 3. Nothing becomes of the 2-out walk here in the second inning as Jamon Taylor strands him. He strands every runner he's seen come to the plate thus far. Satisfy your cravings with Dunkin' Donuts snacking menu with like new stuffed bagel minis, new maple sugar snack and bacon, and Dunkin' roll-ups, including our new steak and cheese roll-up. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Here they come.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
Oh, man, he's getting blown away.
Had the late start yesterday as he had to close the gate. Dunkin'.
Hot coffee looks like he drank a bunch of hot coffee.
Wow. Boy.
Is he running him into the boards? That's boarding. Speaking of hockey.
Back with more after this. A spirited race here today.
Introducing oat milk at Dunkin'. Get cozy by the cupful and creamy without the dairy with oat milk in any of our beverages. Oat milk is now at Dunkin'. Enjoy contactless ordering on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. There's nothing better than fall together with the signature pumpkin spice iced latte or pumpkin iced coffee. Pumpkin is back at Dunkin'. Enjoy contactless ordering on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'.
Ryan Andrazik, only base runner he's given up today was a walk back in the second. Otherwise, mostly contact outs. He did strike out 2 in a row. De La Cruz and McKinley back in the second after the leadoff walk, and got a pop out to end things here in the second. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here today. PJ Gradowski, your director. Jeremiah Hergon, our graphics man and producer here today. Eric McKean providing all the analytical data. You know, it's about an hour in when he snacks on the goldfish.
Yep. Beaker McKean. Are we going with that? Run with it? No?
Does he like it?
I don't know. I'm not sure people like their nickname in general. I don't know if he has to like it.
Wow. Cheryl Pontius says hello from Ormond Beach, and grateful to be watching from the stadium as well. Go Jordan Pontius and the Hoppers. Where's Ormond Beach? A rattling piece of something there on that. Was that over the Cabana Suites, possibly?
I think so, on the roof. Be nice to have a Cabana Suite right now for a little fire pit action.
Yeah.
Any chance we could broadcast one from a Cabana Suite or no?
That'd be cool. Or you can just bring one of those fire tables up here.
Might be easier to broadcast from the Cabana Suite.
1-2 on Miles Miller. Excuse me, swing there. Cheryl says Ormond Beach is in Florida. Have to check it out one day. Here's the 1-2. Floating low and in. They shade Miller in center field. While to the right of the second base bag. There's some room in right center, though, as Jones plays pretty close to the line. With no on and nobody out to start this third inning.
No. Thought he had him. Good spot. Good spot for a pitcher. Can't get hurt there.
Saw a lot of those yesterday. Called for strikes. Miller flustered as he heaves the bat. Oland captures out number 1 here in the third.
The shortstop, number 44, Jake Cooper.
44 pitches deep, so it hasn't been the most efficient for Ryan Andrazik, but if he can get a few outs quicker, he could continue this nice day.
I think he's going to have every opportunity to pitch deep into this game.
You'd think so. 48 pitches his last time up. That was not necessarily an "I'm tired" substitution from Paul Nickenbrugge. That was a more, hey, we're trying to win with the bases loaded, and
we need strikeouts.
Dazon Cole was able to deliver that. So in the end, Dazon kept Ryan Andrzejcik's line fairly tidy. Just 2 hits given up, 2 walks and a strikeout, no runs, and 3 1/3. Andrzejcik's a perfectionist, though. He wants utmost perfection when it comes to the tweaks. And talked to Shane McCaddy, one of the pitching coordinators here at the USPBL. He said at times that's gotten in his way, but he's going to execute whatever you tell him in terms of the delivery value system, or at least try to.
Besides the fact that the Mammoth bullpen's a little bit taxed right now, I think this is an audition for a playoff start too.
Sure.
You would think Ben McKendall gets the first nod, probably.
Unless he's going to coach first.
Unless they need him to coach first.
Swing and a miss by Jake Hoover. That's the second strikeout, or the third, I beg your pardon, for Ryan Andrzejcik. 2 in the second and 1 here in the third. That is the 4th 3-ball count we've seen from Ryan Andrzejcik here tonight. Turns it back to the top of the order for Greg Vaughn Jr. Going to ground out his first time around. Talked about guys with high line drive rates. Greg Vaughn Jr. right there, 43%. Right up there with Lamar Briggs, 2 of the better line drive hitters in this league.
Usually like 7 or 8 out of every 10 line drives is going to be a hit, but that definitely hasn't been the case for him this year. He's been a lot more hard luck than that.
You look at his batting average on balls in play, though, it's surprising, 382. So some of that lately must have...
It's got to be it. That's come up lately, because early on when he was struggling, it was pretty low, as I recall it.
He is hitting 333 in his last 10. 9 walks to 8 strikeouts. And here's another 3-2 count to another diamond hopper batter. Boy, at some point you get frustrated from not getting on base. Because you work some good counts here today. Fly ball to right center field. That's Kieran Jones, and righty looks up, and it's gone! Another line drive type hit by Greg Vaughn Jr., and he powers his first home run out of the yard.
You aren't going to have any hard luck when you hit him that far. What a beautiful swing, though. He really stayed on that ball well. Didn't try to pull it. You know, just let the ball travel and drove it to the opposite field, and that ball just kept carrying. Backspin on it and just kept going.
88 miles an hour to the opposite field off the bat, carried 357 feet. That spot right there has been a pretty popular area for home runs. And we're not talking about lefties most of the time.
Right.
Zach Gray has hit a few over there. Ross Haffey hit his first and his last over there.
There's a lot to like about Greg Vaughn Jr. You know, if you're looking at position players in this league, I think he's on the short list of guys who are going to hang around for a while, you know, as far as possibly progressing in their career. He certainly has the ability, the genetics, has some good tendencies with his mechanics already.
And snaps the no-hitter through 2 2/3 for Ryan Andrzejcik, and retired the first 2 men he saw here in the third. Boy, it's been the clutch hits, though, that have stood out along this playoff run. And that's not too uncharacteristic, certainly in a league that's based solely in Michigan as well. As the weather tapers off, certainly the bats usually fall. Now, we're not talking about you know, really cold weather quite yet, and I'm not sure we'll get to that point in terms of us playing games because the season's over after next week. But you even talk to some of these guys. Zach Gray was one of them. Says, hey, the ball's not flying as much as it was,
right?
You know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when the heat was still a factor.
But they're taking better at bats every week, though. It feels like.
Ooh, shattered bat.
Man.
Flips nearly all the way out to Barnes. Bobbles and still able to recover and make the play.
Pretty good recovery there by Barnes. Could have easily panicked.
So nothing else after the 2 outs. Solo shot by Greg Vaughn Jr., but it's a big one in a tight game. 1-0 Hoppers. Time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. Here today. When does the hot chocolate come out?
Yeah, I don't know. He would definitely spill it, so we have that to worry about. You have to put it in a thermos, I think.
Yes, the thermos. Yeah. A little distracted.
Is he helping? No, I thought he was helping the umpire open the water for a second. Umpire Sal. He's got to lead the umpires in appearances this year, doesn't he?
Seems like it, yeah. He's been here quite a bit. So JJ the Field General, presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today, showing the hops.
He's got hops, no doubt.
A JJ plush toy on the line all season long as well. You can find that in the merchandise store and online. And here is a word from the merchandise department.
With soft tees, plush toys, team grade snapbacks, and cozy crew necks, we've got everything. Shop all the USPBL gear to rock your favorite team colors year round. USPBL.com/shop to see our full collection. Ask about local pickup too.
Alec Oland leading off for the Westside Woolly Mammoths here in the third, trying to strike back a run. This is the time to do it with your Zach Hart Agency top of the order due up. Will Johnson, Lamar Briggs to follow. Really nice swing by Greg Vaughn Jr. And I tell you what, if he can provide the walks, if he can provide the base hits, and if he can provide just a little bit of pop in that leadoff spot, that's going to be an interesting story to follow as we go into the playoffs.
He's really a poster child for OPS potentially, you know, when he's going good, because he gets on base at such a clip, and he's got that extra base power.
Came into today with a hard hit rate of 38%. That's balls 95 miles an hour and higher on the exit velocity. Will Johnson had a strikeout back in the first inning. Comes up here trying to scratch across a base runner. Boy, it just gets darker a little sooner and sooner, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It's almost to that point. The day we all dread, daylight savings time coming up.
Oh, yeah. When is that? October?
It might be early November.
Okay, yeah.
November 1st.
Backed it up, I think, from the old days.
It's the days where it gets dark at 5.
November 1st. Why not just make it Halloween while we're at it?
Here's the 1-1. Outside 2-1 on Will Johnson. Halloween candy starting to come out in the stores.
I saw that, yeah.
Got a favorite?
Huh. Well, probably the, like, chocolate peanut butter pumpkins, that kind of thing.
Fly ball to left field. That one into the gap. Boy, it sounded like it was smoked off the bat, but hung up there long enough for Greg Vaughn Jr. for the second out. Good swing nonetheless. Just right at him.
Do you have a favorite?
What did you say? I didn't even catch what you said.
Like anything that's like peanut butter chocolate. So like the pumpkin ones and for Halloween. I also pick the eggs for Easter.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm right with you on there. I love anything peanut butter related and chocolate. Slurve outside to Lamar Briggs here.
I do like candy corn. I know a lot of people hate it. I usually get to capture a lot of the things my kids don't like from their trick-or-treat basket, although I don't know if that'll happen this year or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an odd year. I feel like it's even going to be an odd Christmas.
Yes, could be.
Righty on righty, here's the 2-0. Low and in, 3-0 on Lamar Briggs now.
I don't think there'll be the visiting Santa in the mall this year.
No. Probably not. You wonder even about shopping because they're in some places they're limiting people in stores still.
Yeah, that'll really hurt your Black Friday.
Briggs way ahead. Here's the 3-1 outside, and that's his second walk already. So after the first 2 men recorded, that's back-to-back innings that Javon Taylor has done that. Allowed a 2-out walk, and in the second, get a ground out by Andrew McCoy, the very next batter, to get out of things unscathed. But Scott Caper is a little bit of a different hitter, especially lately. Had a single back in the first inning.
See if Briggs may try to swipe one here.
Done that at a pretty good rate this year. Not going in the first pitch, but that will allow him to scurry to second. Off the chest protector of Xavier Warren.
Well, doesn't need to steal now.
We have seen some Mammoths steal third. Not sure they'd do that with 2 outs in a game where base runners look to be limited.
Probably shouldn't do it with 2 outs. Unless you really know you have it.
Nobody in the pen for either of these two teams. 52 pitches for Javon Taylor. So both of these guys kind of in the same window. Taylor has certainly seen more base runners than Andrzejczyk has had. Pitch count up, base runners down, runs down obviously. The only run coming off the solo home run by Greg Vaughn Jr. the last half. Slurve got on top of that to left field. Vaughn Jr. going back to the track and leaning to the wall. I wasn't quite convinced that one would reach its way out, but it did take Greg all the way to the warning track and beyond. Still a 1-0 game in favor of the Hoppers. Will try to add to that next.
Hi, I'm Allison with the Sports Performance Tip of the Game, brought to you by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. You don't need an expensive gym membership or equipment to stay fit. During the coronavirus, we have all found creative ways to stay in shape. There are many things you can find or even use around your home. For example, you can fill up a backpack with books and wear it on your back for resisted squats. You want to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, just wider than shoulder width apart. Sit back with your hips, keep the chest high, and repeat this for 2 sets of 10. An exercise like this one that uses your own body weight is one of the simplest ways you can work out at home.
Congratulations to today's graduate of the game from Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. At MSGCU, we're for teachers. That means anyone that's ever taught a lesson about anything in life, like how to tie a tie, or how to pay attention in online school. We're dedicated to helping all the teachers out there achieve financial success. So if you've ever taught a lesson, MSGCU can help you get the most out of your finances with market-leading rates and low fees.
Senior Spotlight presented by Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. It's Hannah Hutton graduate of Cousino High School, the Patriots. Where they worked hard in school since sixth grade. She was one of the 2 students in the 8th grade to receive all A's all 3 years of middle school. Became a member of the Warren Police Explorers and a member of the marching band, playing flute and piccolo as well. Senior year, she was a drum major. Ended up graduating with a 3.6 GPA. She'll be attending Grand Valley State this fall, majoring in English and secondary education with a minor in history as well.
Gonna be a teacher. We need more of those, always.
Be interesting to see if these teachers are taught a little differently too going forward.
I would think so. I think they'll, in university programs, probably have courses just based on remote learning, I would assume.
Popped it up. Briggs collects the first down.
That's a nice quick out if you're Andrzejczyk to get Warren like that.
Yeah, so other than the home run, it's been up and then down against Ryan Andrzejczyk. He has seen quite a few 3-ball counts, so they've not gone down without a fight.
Right. That's going to happen with a guy with his type of arsenal. He's not going to blow people away, but if he can miss enough barrels and not walk too many guys, that's certainly a key. He did walk this guy the last time.
Outside 1-0. That walk was on a 3-1 count. It was to begin the second, and then he struck out the next 2 he faced and got Pontius to pop out. So overall, it was a good job to reel it back in.
That's a nice fastball there. You know, just down and away, really well placed. Can't get hurt there. But it's a strike. Same spot, but that time with the, I think it was a slider. I couldn't tell if it was a slider or a changeup.
Change.
Was it a change? Okay.
Throws that 21% of the time. The 2-seamer 38%. It's a 2-seam, a 4-seam, a slider, a changeup, and a curveball for Ryan Andrzejczyk.
It looks like his change is a little bit quicker than his slider, actually. Slider and his curveball are very similar speed also. The curve's a little more of a 12-6 action.
3-2 on Zach Gray. Went right at him there and chopped it foul. And you can also watch us on Twitter now. Search @USPBL on Twitter. You can find the feed there. Nice line drive that curved its way to the gap in left center field and gets down for the first base runner here in the 4th.
You can see a little bit of a theme establishing with the hitters. The guys that have better swings, a little bit more success against Andrzejczyk, are hitting the ball the opposite way. If you try to pull on him, you're going to get out in front of a lot of things. He does a pretty good job adding and subtracting and has a pretty good movement on his ball. If you're looking to pull, you're going to be out front. Probably not make as good a solid contact as if you look to drive the ball through the middle or the opposite way.
First pitch fastball to De La Cruz is off the plate outside. De La Cruz, one of the 3 strikeout victims thus far against Andrzejczyk, looking back in the 2nd inning. Playing third base again here tonight. We've seen him play a little outfield this year out of need, some second base. But the need on this Hoppers team was a third baseman. And that's where he settled in. Later got Jake Hoover as well, who's made some outstanding plays over at shortstop. So it's a pretty solid left side of the diamond defensively. And then you look over to the right, you got Pontius and you got Zach Gray. So
yeah,
overall, with Xavier Warren behind the dish, it's a pretty solid infield.
As it turned out, it was kind of Maselli and Mahalik that sort of got replaced over there. Mahalik DHing, of course, a lot, but Maselli's been more of a backup type player last month.
Unofficially, the 8th 3-ball count that Andrzejczyk has delivered so far here tonight. That will get your pitch count up at 75, right where it is now. Off the plate outside, that puts runners on first and second. I can tell you one thing, unless this inning majorly explodes, they're going to get him through this 4th.
Yeah, yep, I agree.
I'd love a double play ball here. Trevor McKinley isn't the best candidate for that because of his wheels. Plenty of games going around Major League Baseball here today. The White Sox have clinched their first playoff berth since '08.
Wow.
It's been that long, huh? 4-3 victory over the Twins earlier. Hopping ball, diving is happy.
Nobody's covering.
And everybody's safe.
Yeah, and Andrzejczyk didn't break for first base. Any ball to the right side, doesn't matter. You've got to break to first base if you're the pitcher, and he was late getting started there, and that cost him an out. He probably thought it was a base hit, honestly. I think that's the main reason why he didn't break right away. I think he thought it was through.
So now Jordan Pontius bats with the bases loaded and 1 out. John Murphy warming up here, and he just started, so Paul Nickenbrugge will come out and chat with him. Whole infield comes together as well. Gray on third, De La Cruz on second, and McKinley on first. A single, a walk, and a single thus far. You know who's on that 2008 White Sox team? There's some good names.
I would think Tomey was still there.
Tomey, yep.
Konerko.
Brzezinski.
Yep.
Alexi Ramirez.
Some Tiger killers on that team.
Joe Creedy.
Creedy, he was a Tiger killer, big time.
Carlos Quinton, Nick Swisher.
Carlos Quinton was too.
Jermaine Dye.
Yep, sure.
Juan Uribe. Ken Griffey Jr. even.
You just had the Tigers, I remember during that time, they had a real bad feeling all the time when they were playing against the White Sox, especially that year. Just always seemed like something bad was going to happen.
Chris Getz.
Was he on the club that year still? Interesting.
10 games.
Okay.
In total. Pitching staff of Burley, Danks, Floyd, Javier Vasquez, Jose Contreras, Octavio Dotel, who later became a Tiger.
He became almost everything.
Bobby Jinks, Matt Thornton, Mike McDougal.
You know, speaking of Chris Getz, now that you mentioned him, he's a key member of the front office with the White Sox now.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, director of player personnel, I believe. I believe he's basically oversees the minor league system.
Poked into right center. That's going to do it. 1 run around to score. Gray. Here comes the second. It's De La Cruz. And don't look now, but the Hoppers have a lead.
That's a classic Jordan Pontius base hit right there. Just staying on a ball the other way, getting it over the second baseman's head. And he has a tendency to do that with men in scoring position. Does a good job when men are on.
Brings up Miles Miller with runners on the corners and 1 out. John Murphy warming up at a quicker clip now. 2-1 lead for the Diamond Hoppers here in the 4th inning. Murphy is the one man who did not come in yesterday for this bullpen. He was warming up at several different stages. White Sox didn't even have a season over 500 since 2008, this article says.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Yeah, they kind of tailed off as the Tigers hit their stride. As tends to happen with division rivals. Not a fan of that ballpark.
No?
No. It's just kind of blah. Not a great area in terms of, things to do if you walk around. It's just kind of isolated on its own. I'm not a fan of sports venues that are like that, period. For that reason, I was never real high on the Palace either, even though it was a beautiful building, very, very well-functioning building. I just didn't like that it was isolated the way it was. I like downtown stadiums, downtown ballparks. Our park here is like that. You can walk over to downtown Utica and hit up all those restaurants and bars.
0-2 on Miles Miller here. A few malls close too. Hall Road, big bustling road full of businesses certainly.
Oh yes.
Here's the 0-2.
Oh, almost hit him.
McKinley on third, Pontius on first. Pontius has delivered the 2 RBI single here in the fourth to put these Hoppers on top. RBI's 11 and 12 on the year. And boy, that's hotly hit but foul. Alan Oakes disagrees with you. He says the Palace was the best. I think Eric likes the Palace too because he was close.
Yeah, I was going to say, where did Alan Oakes live? He's gonna tell me Rochester or something.
1-2 on Miles Miller.
It was a great building that held up very well as any building I've seen.
Well, it's sad that they had to tear it down.
Yeah,
almost. I mean, and they had just renovated it.
I think it's the best building that's been torn down.
Yeah,
I would have to hear a compelling argument otherwise.
Talking locally or just?
No, for sure it is locally. There's no doubt about that. Just in general.
Did they tear the Texas ballpark down?
They did, but I think there was more compelling reasons for that one.
Fought down the right field line, stretching out is Jones just to keep it in front of him. That will save a fourth run potentially. Trevor McKinley does come around to score.
He did a very nice job to keep that ball in front. That could have been much worse.
Number 24, Jake Hoover.
To briefly get back to your question, I don't think they did tear down that ballpark.
They didn't?
In Texas.
Okay.
No, I don't. I think it's being used by I want to say college football or soccer or both.
I think there was an XFL team that was supposed to play there, or maybe did play there. Who knows where that's at this point? Hearing that might come back. 4-0 lead for the Diamond Hoppers here, and that's it for Ryan Andrazik. We have another Hoffman Dental pitching change here in the fourth inning. A home run in the third by the Hoppers. A single, a walk, a single, and another single has chipped away to a 4-0 advantage here on the USPBL network.
Detroit Mercy itself definitely values who you are as a person to really give me guidance on what it was to be a college student. The ability to connect with many people from different backgrounds. Not only did I take what I learned in the academic world, but I was able to apply that in a professional setting. And the university definitely provided those resources. And I was able to graduate and be the first one of my family to graduate from college.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
Be a part of the game. Be a part of the family. Be a part of the magic. Join the USPBL season ticket holder program and be a part of all of the best moments at Jimmy John's Field. Why? Because 2021 is gonna be fun. Purchase a 2021 season ticket holder plan or renew your existing plan today.
John Murphy taking over for Ryan Andrzejczyk here in the 4th inning after he gave up 3 runs. Another one in the 3rd as well off the home run. Now runners on 1st and 3rd with only 1 out. That was to the first batter, Xavier Warren.
Last time we saw John back on September 11th, it was a tough outing. He was brought in to close a big lead against the Unicorns and didn't make it through, had poor command, and started to let up on his fastball too, just in an effort to get it over the plate. Ended up getting pulled from that outing, but hopefully has a bounce back here. I'm sure he worked on some things between outings.
4.67 ERA through 13 appearances, 12 of them in relief, 17 in the 3rd innings overall. It's a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. It's mostly just fastball, slider, and heavily fastball with 83% of the 4-seamers coming at hitters. This is the 6th batter to the plate. I think that's 7th batter to the plate here in the 4th. Bottom of the order, and Jake Hoover struck out his first time up.
And that's part of the reason why he goes bad sometimes, is when he's not commanding his fastball, he doesn't really have anything else to lean on. You know, we saw some issues with, you know, for instance, Austin Dakar early in the year, who had trouble commanding his fastball, and he was able to lean on his curveball and get out of those jams in a lot of cases. But John Murphy doesn't really have that secondary pitch that he can go to.
Fly ball to right center field. Jones got it, I think.
Well, that was an adventure, but he did catch it, supposedly.
And now they're saying...
No, the umpire's been very adamant about signaling out.
I think they're trying to argue that he did not tag up correctly. And the base pass umpire is not even looking that direction currently.
He could ask for help from the home plate umpire this is a 2-umpire formation, so if the base umpire was watching the catch, then he wouldn't have seen the tag. So he can certainly help. He can certainly ask for help in that situation, if that's what they're arguing.
Looks like the run's going to score, though. So Jordan Pontius comes around. Jake Hoover credited with a sac fly. That's the 2nd out of this inning as they shift it back to the top of the order for Greg Vaughn Jr. What a swing his last time up.
Not sure if that ball was in the lights or what happened there, but Keandre had trouble with it from the second he saw it.
Right into the diving glove of Barnes.
There's 2 outs. The runner started to retreat as if there was only 1 out, but there's 2 outs.
Another good swing by Greg Vaughn Jr. off the bat at 97. More importantly, they add to this lead, which is now 5-0.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Giving you so much more. Hollywood supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store. Hollywood supermarkets. Giving you so much more. Hollywood supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store.
John Taylor on for his 4th inning of work, has not given a run thus far, has seen a base runner reach at least 1 in every inning. Saw 3 in the 1st, stranded 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Had a 2-out walk in the 2nd, got a ground out immediately after, and then a 2-out walk in the 3rd as well, and got a line out. Both of those last 2 innings in the 2nd and 3rd, he retired the first 2 men he faced, and then gave up a walk.
This is a big inning for him. For one, when your club has a little bit of a lead and created one in the top half, you want to come out and shut down here. And he's got a couple power bats to face. Isaiah Cullum, who's been swinging a good bat, Ross Haffey. So this is a very important inning.
Isaiah Cullum, Ross Haffey, Landon Barringer, Zach Carr, and agency men on deck here in the fourth against Jamon Taylor. 54 pitches deep in his outing. No action in the bullpen for these Hoppers. There's a wide variety of arms available. They'll also play the doubleheader in a couple nights on Saturday, the 5:30 and 7 o'clock start here at Jimmy John's Field, on the air at 5:20. Two and 0 on Cullum.
Haven't really seen the higher end velocity out of Taylor today. It's mostly been 87, 89 range.
Filtered that one foul, 2-1. Anytime you can get Cullum out on strikes, got to feel pretty good because of the streak he's got going. Just been a single hit in every game in his 5-game hitting streak, but swinging the bat pretty well. His outs have been hard hit for the most part. 5-0 game here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Hoppers offense going to work when they knew they had to. They didn't want to lose this game. Such a hot start.
Yeah, it's a big one. Plus, it puts the pressure right back on the Unicorns.
(2-0), checked his swing. Or 2-2, I beg your pardon. Now 3-2.
It's a pretty good range on this slur from Taylor. You know, he can be in the low 70s or the high 70s with it. It sort of has a different look to it at times.
Second strikeout for Cullum.
Crowded him.
That's a tough pitch.
Yeah, he crowded him with that one.
4 strikeout overall for Jamon Taylor. He had 2 back in the first, 1 in the second, and now 1 here in the fourth. Ross Haffey has driven in 7 runs, 6 walks, and 10 strikeouts in his last 10, where he's hit 300 in that stretch. Season average 229 coming into play today before the strikeout back in the second inning. He's cooled off a little bit from where he was a few games back. But a bat you certainly want to carry into a playoff push. One swing can change the complexion of a game and a season, just given the 1-game format. Pretty much wild card in terms of.
Well, you look at the MLB playoffs and it's similar. You know, you look at pitching first, of course, because that's the way the game is, but pitching is always the most important, especially in the playoffs. And then second, you look at power. You know, if you can hit a home run, it changes the complexion of a game.
2-1 on the ground to Pontius.
Nearly knocked him over.
Second baseman here today have made some good plays. It's 2 up and 2 down. Will the walk come next? That's been the trend the last 2 innings.
Yeah.
Landon Barnes had a pop out. His first time out, certainly a walk candidate. 10 walks to 14 strikeouts on the year. Scored 7 runs, driven in 5. Defense plays back with nobody on and 2 outs here in the fourth frame. Slurve reigns outside. He's had a couple good slurves here tonight. Hung 1 earlier. It was hit to the gap. Gets the pop out here. Pontius secures the first 1-2-3 inning for Jamon Taylor. Looks good and keeps this lead right where it is.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
When you need emergency care, you want your hospital to be ready for whatever comes through the door. Ready for any injury and any illness. Ready to respond at the speed of emergencies. That's why McLaren Macomb built a new emergency department with advanced technology, clinical expertise, and 68 private exam rooms. We're Macomb County's largest emergency department, and we're ready for you whenever you need us. That's emergency care at McLaren Macomb. That's doing what's best.
Taking a look at John Murphy there, who came in to do a job last inning and did that job, getting a very key fly out and line out to get out of a jam.
An 8-batter inning in the end against him and Ryan Andrazik. Brings up the top. 2, 3, 4 in the lineup. Up high. Mahalik tonight 0 for 2.
I think that was a changeup there, oddly enough.
Huh. That's thrown, what, only about 2%?
Yeah.
Mostly in the start he had. Came in 2% changeup, 14% slider, 83% four-seam fastball, which is topped out at 94 this year. That one at 87 inside, 3-0 on Riley Mahalik. Walked him. A whole lot of 3-ball counts for these Hopper hitters tonight. That's the 8th of the game.
Not only is that living dangerously with regard to walking guys, but it's also causing them to pitch from behind a lot, which can be dangerous in terms of giving up balls that are easy to hit.
Third walk given up. This is certainly a lineup that can get you a walk. This guy included. I mean, he comes in 19 walks to 9 strikeouts. We've talked about Greg Vaughn Jr.'s walkability. Zach Gray at points this season. Adam De La Cruz certainly lately.
There's another changeup there. Must be something he's making a point of working on today.
Leo warming up here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. 68 pitches for Jamon Taylor thus far. So he may be nearing his threshold. Maybe they bring him back out there for the 5th. I mean, did work a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom half of the last inning. Retired his last 4.
For this Hoppers team, if you can get through 5, you're in really good shape, because you'd have Leo or Martin, you know, depending on what you might need in a setup role. And then, of course, you have Dugan Darnell. You're going to feel really good about your chances if you can get through 5 with your starter. It's not a super deep bullpen, but there's some back-end guys that are pretty good there.
It's 8 balls in a row by John Murphy.
Looks like he may be trying to work on certain things here, but his fastball in the upper 80s, you know, the velocity for him when he's going good, more than 91, 92.
Waste no time in getting Dante Glover up here.
He was excellent yesterday.
Yeah, when they really needed it, too.
He's a guy who could potentially start a game if they were in a situation where they made a run in the playoffs.
Really good job by him and Tasker Strobel last night. Tasker coming in an 8-batter 4th inning, where 3 runs had been played in that inning, and it was a 4-0 game at that venture. It just felt like, you know, the game could get out of hand. And even the 4-0 deficit against one of the league's best pitching units felt almost insurmountable at that point. But that gave the offense some confidence. They scored a run answering in the bottom of the 4th and scored 2 more in the bottom of the 5th. Kept him in it. For a while, it felt like the Mammoths were going to hold on and win. And then extra innings came, and the wildness continued a little bit. With the rain and Clenny throwing 50 pitches and into the 9th after he had come in the 6th.
Ooh.
Wow.
You needed that one.
Good slider there for the strikeout of Zach Gray. Comes Adam De La Cruz now. He had a walk back in the 4th inning and scored his 20th run of the year. 24th walk compared to 22 strikeouts. Also had a strikeout earlier in the 2nd inning. Runners on 1st and 2nd here with 1 out as the fastball sails inside. Velocity seems to be down a tick here for Murphy tonight.
Don't know if that's by design, maybe. You know, if he's trying to ease off a little bit in an attempt to throw strikes, which isn't necessarily working either.
In general, it's been down a little bit. I mean, he's averaged 87 in his last outing, 89 in the 3 before that, and the 4 before that, actually. 91.
Right, it's been trending
before
down. That. Last outing, he was really trying to aim it, it looked like. I mean, he threw several balls, 85, 86, which is just, it's not like him.
2-1 on Adam De La Cruz now. Trevor McKinley, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. A few more balls than strikes, though, by John Murphy here in the 5th. Four through 7 all scored in that 4th inning. Now the bases are loaded with 1 out, all because of the free pass. That's the 11th 3-ball count now, and this might be the end of the line here for Murphy. Looks like Dante Glover is ready.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just, you can't do it, especially in a relief role. You can't come out there and walk 3 guys.
So Andrejczyk passing the baton to John Murphy, who potentially is going to give it off for Dante Glover. He has not emerged from the pen, though.
Talks his manager into leaving him in there. I'm sure he wants to leave him in there. You know, he's certainly the fresh arm right now, so it makes a lot of sense to leave him in there if he can do the job. He's only 1 pitch away. You just need a double play ball to get out of this. But you got to make your pitches.
Corner of the infield will come in. At least Briggs at third base. Haffey playing behind the runner. This one is spiked in.
Well, not positive there because of how short he threw it, but it looked like he was trying that changeup again.
One-0 is outside. 2-0 on Trevor McKinley. He's fallen behind every hitter he's faced.
A little better fastball there at 90.
There's a tailing one at 87. "23 pitches deep into this outing, which ranges from the 4th to the 5th thus far. And now 3-1 on the right fielder here from the Hoppers. No room at the end. They scored 4 in the 4th, 1 in the 3rd, and in danger of allowing a few more here in the 5th inning.
If you're McKinley here, you got to look for one pitch in one zone and really let it fly if you get it. And not, if you don't, you take it. Murphy has no choice but to lay one in. Could be his last pitch.
The 3-1.
Nope. Just couldn't do it.
Outside, and that will walk in a run. Mahalik scores. Warren to third. De La Cruz to second. McKinley over to first. And another RBI notch for Trevor McKinley, and that will be the end of the line here for Murphy. Paul Nickenbrugge is out. We'll get to see Dante Glover for the second consecutive night here. He'll face Jordan Pontius and Miles Miller here with one out. The one out recorded because of the strikeout to Zach Ray. USPBL Baseball presented by Budweiser here tonight.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2020 Equinox LT for just $280 a month. Put in a D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
With soft tees, plush toys, team-grade snapbacks, and cozy crew necks, we've got everything. Shop all the USPBL gear to rock your favorite team colors year-round. Go to uspbl.com/shop to see our full collection. Ask about local pickup too.
Dante Glover coming on to face the bases loaded with one out. Xavier Warren on third, De La Cruz on second, and Trevor McKinley on first. Walk, walk, K, walk, walk, RBI. The line against the Hoppers here. It's been a messy 4th and 5th inning.
Well, Dante Glover's done a nice job in these types of roles. He inherited a runner last night and got out of it. He frequently comes into these types of situations and has done a really good job. He's something of an overlooked guy just because he's, you know, not much to look at. You know, he doesn't have the big frame, and you know, he doesn't have the big fastball.
Ouch.
Well, that wasn't ideal.
The 7th run, get across the plate here. Xavier Warren scores his 13th of the year, and you hope Jordan Pontius is okay. RBI the hard way there. He's got 3 tonight. Brings up Miles Miller as they continue to take a peek at Pontius over there. A reminder, you can comment with us on YouTube and Facebook.
I asked Dante Glover yesterday about the range on his fastball, because it seems to range more than the typical guy. You know, you'll see him throw some that are 83, 84, but then you'll also see him throw some that are 90, 91. And he described it as being more of a conscious choice. You know, sometimes he's just trying to throw it by guys. Other times he's trying to spot it a certain place or run it a little bit more, especially with the 2-seam, or maybe even get guys a little bit out front.
Average fastball velocity for him last night, 86. Topped out at 89.
It's a little bit up from typical.
He's been 84, 85 recently. 2 outings ago, 87. 1-1 here on Miles Miller. Pond full of ducks with 1 out again, as this one looped to the second baseman Barnes. Turns to second in time, and that's all he's going to get. Another run scores. Adam De La Cruz with his 2nd run of the game, his 21st of the year.
Oh, Mammoths just relieved to get an out on that play.
Now the bottom of the order, Jake Hoover up. This is the 2nd consecutive inning where 8 batters have come to the plate. And so far, the same results nearly in terms of runs, 3 in the 5th and 4 back in the 4th. That has made this a lopsided game. After these 2 pitchers went through nearly 3 complete with not much to speak of in terms of runs. Jamon Taylor still in that category.
Can't help but wonder if maybe this extended inning could end Jamon Taylor's day.
It could. Nick Leo has since sat down. That's not a huge indicator, though, because he could just be ready to go. How about the Yankees tonight? 9-2 lead over Toronto. They had a 5-homer 4th inning and scored 7 runs.
Wow. 5-homer 4th inning.
Line drive to left. That one's straightening itself out. It's going to gallop its way down to Johnson there. Trevor McKinley able to score the 9th run of the game.
Well, they're just piling on now. Give up a double to the 9-man in the order. Sometimes you just know it's not your night.
It's the 2nd extra base hit of the USPBL career of Jake Hoover. So it's Brett Gardner, DJ LeMahieu, Giancarlo Stanton, and Torres all homering along with Voit. Voit's your leader in the, is it the Major Leagues or the American League? 20 home runs for Luke Voit. How about that?
So the White Sox have the #1 seed right now in the AL. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the system that they settled on, they get to identify their opponent, correct? Is that the way that the #1 seed goes? That was
really?
Yeah, that was bantied about.
Huh. I have not heard that.
Yeah, I think among the playoff qualifiers, I believe they get to pick their opponent. At least among the non-division winners, I believe.
Boy, you better you better
choose wisely, yeah. And it's going to be hurt feelings, no matter who you pick.
Absolutely.
Like, imagine the White Sox picking the Indians, for instance.
Sure.
That'll create a rivalry, if there wasn't already one. Or the Twins, for that matter.
Outside, and Greg Vaughn Jr. will coax his first walk of this game, the 20th of the season. It will load the bases for the third time here today.
Well, it's not a game if Greg Vaughn Jr. doesn't have a walk.
Very true. He's got 10 walks in his last 10 compared to 8 Ks. Hard hit. Barnes is right there, and he's able to corral the third out of the inning. It's another large inning for the Diamond Hoppers as they bat around 9-0. Favor the Frogs today.
A great day for me is when the family heads to the local farm stand in our Chevy Traverse. We can enjoy a comfortable, scenic trip in its spacious interior and stay connected with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi. Add in the available hands-free liftgate and class-leading cargo space, and Traverse fits my life and everything that comes with it.
Lease a 2020 Traverse LT for just $279 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First, you have our attention 24/7.
All Diamond Hoppers in this game. Jamon Taylor, one reason for that is he has seen some base runners here tonight, but has done a good job stranding them all and has looked really good in his last 3 innings.
In a way, I'm a little surprised to see him back out. I thought maybe the long layoff might cool him down a little too much and cause them to go to a reliever, but they've got a 9-run lead here, so I guess they can, probably afford to take a chance. Might want to save their bullpen for a tighter game, which of course they do have the doubleheader on Saturday, the first game of which will not matter anything toward the standings, but the second game will.
Maybe something going into that decision is that he faces 8-9-1 here, so at least get Keandre Jones and Andrew McCoy potentially, and then think about lifting him, or you could just get through it quickly.
Right.
66 pitches. First pitch ball up high. Threw 83 in his last outing back on the 7th. That's the season high. 67, 69, 73, 57, 55. The other outings for Taylor, 7 starts, including tonight. Hoover, a vacuum out there at short for out number 1.
Literally.
Pun wasn't intended, but I think about it now.
Considering how good of a defender he is, I can't believe we're the first ones to think of that. That had to have come up before.
Well, if he ever makes it to the major leagues,
yeah,
he might just have a sponsorship deal.
Oh, yeah.
Or if he keeps making SportsCenter top 10, maybe
right.
even...
Chris Berman will say something about it.
McCoy ground out to third base his only time up. That completed pretty snappy second inning of play. Just a 2-out walk surrendered by Jamon Taylor. He's retired 5 straight going back to the end of the 3rd inning after the 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. Nice slurve there for
very nice.
Strike 1. Doesn't look like the layoff has affected him much.
No.
I don't know. Do you even think about the 6th inning if he gets through this quickly?
It's not out of the question. mean, there's not really a concern about getting work for guys, I don't think, with the doubleheader coming up.
Looks like Leo is tossing again, but it's not with any urgency, and he still has his sweatshirt on.
Interesting thing about the slurve is that it's had a lot of range today, from 71 to 77.
That's a pretty big range for a breaking ball.
It's kind of more curveball-like at the bottom side of that, more slider-like at the high side.
Well, we've talked to him about that in the past. He doesn't necessarily care whether it's more like a curve or more like a slider. He just takes it for what it is that day.
Right.
Just has found that that's his best approach. It is a curveball grip. Popped it up lazily to right. McKinley is there for out number 2. There's some good bloodlines for Jamon Taylor and his family. His dad was a McDonald's All-American basketball player in high school. He says the USPBL has kind of allowed him to become a little bit more mentally focused in terms of knowing what he's doing wrong. And I think you survey a lot of guys, that'll come up, and then you talk to them a little further and they say, yeah, I probably had an outing where I focused on it too much. But that'll happen.
Sure.
Just like anybody working on things. Hitters will say the same thing when they're trying to change their swing or change their stance.
So many guys, especially really good athletes, don't think that much about what they're doing when they're growing up. It's just they're physically dominant over everybody else.
Shooming on the ground to De La Cruz. Gets off. What a stretch!
Pulled him.
But he couldn't.
Pulled him just a little too far. Showed a good arm there, but it just pulled him a little too far up the bag.
So an infield hit for Oland or an error on...
I think that's a throwing error. Don't take my word for it, though. I disagree with the score, the official scoring more often than I agree. Oland does have good speed, so they may feel like his speed earned him the hit, but it's the throw that pulled him off the bag. Otherwise, it would have been an out.
Looks like they have went with the third hit of the ball game.
All right. I told you not to believe me.
Oland has 2 of them. He had one back in the first. Also a keeper single in the first inning for the Mammoths. Fastball in there at 85 miles an hour. Lamar Briggs would be next, approaching 80 pitches. Here is Jamon Taylor. Good block by Warren. Certainly looks more confident with the blocks, doesn't he?
He does.
The more games he gets under his belt at that catching position.
It's funny because you wouldn't think this, but you really want to try to be quiet and calm when you block, because if you're too rigid and too tense, the ball bounces off your body. You don't want to attack the ball. You want to just smother it.
Just a difference of tightening up your muscles, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's natural to want to tense up. Obviously, a ball's coming at you 90 miles an hour.
Tough hop for Pontius. Fouled it well. And a really good job by Jamon Taylor to strand the 2-out single here in the 5th. He's been really efficient since the first inning of work. Says thank you to Jordan Pontius, hopping around as his Diamond Hoppers have a big-time lead.
When you are in need of air conditioning services, turn to the experienced professionals at McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration. Since 1970, we've been delivering high-quality air conditioning installation and repair services. Call for a free estimate today. Let us help you be cool and comfortable. For comprehensive HVAC services, contact McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration today.
Catch the Chevy Malibu at your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Lease a 2020 Malibu 1LT for just $288 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We build,
Roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers, our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Tasker Strobel taking over here for Dante Glover. In the 6th inning of play, his squad down 9-0, just looking to get out of this game.
Saw Tasker last night, went an inning and a third. Had 3 Ks. Was up a little bit in the zone with his slider, but good overall. It's good stuff. He's been a very effective arm from the left side for the Mammoths.
.386 ERA for Tasker through 9 1/3. 4 walks to 16 strikeouts. That's surmounted to a strikeout per 9 of 15. And a walks per 9 of 4.
It's another one of those guys with a good, hard, vertical breaking slider.
He has not given up in a run of his own in his last 4 appearances and only has 1 walk compared to 10 strikeouts. That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
28 pitches last night in an inning and a third of work. Strike 1 delivered to Xavier Warren. Warren today a walk and a run scored back in the 5th. Popped out in the 4th and lined out in the 1st. Nice bite on that slider as it curved to the interior. He's thrown his slider nearly as much as his 4-seam fastball. 33% on the fastball, 29% on the slider. Has thrown the 2-seam 20% of the time, with the curveball following at 14. In there for strike 3. Don't see that too often.
No, you don't. Not a lot of difference between his 2-seam and his 4-seam fastball as far as the action. He doesn't get a ton of tail with his 2-seam, which is, you know, probably why he's a little bit heavier with the 4-seam. But no matter how you throw it, that was a well-placed pitch, and Warren didn't look ready for it. Another uncomfortable swing.
Zach Gray kind of had an uncomfortable swing on his strikeout in the 5th. That was the first out, and you really had to search for the second out. It didn't happen till a few batters later, but some damage done with 2 outs as well. 4 runs in total came across to score. Sound like a broken bat into the glove of Ross Haffey for the second out.
Can take that one up to the cabanas for the fire pit. Not literally, of course. We don't use real firewood for those.
Now Adam De La Cruz trying to improve upon his 2-walk day. He scored 2 runs in his time on base as well. Runs 20 and 21 on the season for this third baseman. Fastball outside. Well, in this push to the playoff stretch for the Diamond Hoppers, they got a lot of their games out of the way early. It's whittled foul. Played September 2nd. It was a 2-0 win over the Beavers. September 3rd, a 4-0 win over the Unicorns. The 5th, a 5-2 win in Game 2 of the doubleheader versus the Beavers, which counted towards the standings. Then a 3-1 loss versus the Beavers a couple days later on the 7th, Labor Day. 3-1 victory over the Mammoths on the 9th. And then Game 2 of the doubleheader, a 3-2 loss to the Beavers last Saturday. Beavers coming back and winning a couple tight games against what has kind of become their rival for the second seed in the standing. Those two were battling back and forth all summer long before we switched formats.
Oh, yes. That's a really tough pitch down.
A really efficient inning for Tasker Strobel. He strikes out 2, cracks a smile. Also got a batter to line out in the end as well. Still 9-0. Hoppers.
Looking for a great rate on a new vehicle? Introducing our credit union's Drive promotion with rates as low as 1.89% and no payments for 90 days. Or refinance and save on your current auto loan with our 1% lower guarantee. You can now get pre-approved and close a loan remotely with our convenient online application process. Stop in today or visit ourcuonline.org/drive to drive away happy.
With us, you can expect something more. More guidance,
Do you trust me, Mom?
more dedication, more commitment. So you can celebrate today and be prepared for tomorrow. Insurance through AAA. Expect something more.
Look who's back out there, Dan.
I'm officially surprised. I think, you know, it makes sense from a baseball standpoint, though. You know, obviously this is a huge lead, and there's not a lot of risk there. You can save your bullpen, and, you know, after this doubleheader on Saturday, they certainly feel as if they're going to be in the top 2 seeds for sure, I think. So they're not going to play again until the following Saturday. But a really good start for Taylor. You know, the key to this game so far is the effort that he's given them.
He's had quick innings in the sense of outs. No real inning has felt extremely quick in terms of pitch count, and that's why you see it at 79 here as he enters the 6th. But regardless, when you strand base runners and you scatter base runners like he has, you're going to be out there in the 5th or 6th.
Hasn't walked a lot of guys, besides Briggs, you know, who's up right now. He's got 2 walks, but
starts him 0-2, so that's a success so far.
He's sprinkled in a few strikeouts. For the most part, he's not going to strike out a ton of guys, but he's mixed in a few.
And Nick Leo just continues to casually throw.
Right.
Is he just leisurely having fun out there? Not sure if he's actually warming up to come into the game or not. This one into center field. It's going to drop, and Briggs reaches every time, which is quite the feat here tonight.
Only Mammoth with a really good day.
The catcher, number 11, Scott Capers.
Well, regardless, because these Mammoths are the home team, these Hoppers are going to have to get through 2 more innings. Very doubtful that Taylor is going to go the full distance in a 9-0 game.
I don't know. You might want to lay off predictions at this point.
Fly ball to left field. Vaughn Jr. chasing that back. He looks up and it's gone. The 3rd home run of the year for Scott Capers.
That ball really jumped off his bat. That was a much better hit ball than the deep fly ball that he hit to left field earlier in the game. That one, the earlier one, carried, but it really didn't come off the bat like that. That one was very well struck. And Nick Leo may speed it up down there.
Pitch hitting number 25, Jamal Howard.
Jamal Howard going to pinch hit for Isaiah Cullum here in the 6th inning. Cullum today 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. So no outs here in the 6th inning. The base is clear. 2 runs in, the first 2 of the ball game for the Mammoths. Is their confidence trending upwards? We've seen some wild games, but I don't know. This would be quite the feat.
This would top them all.
Yesterday was a different wild, I guess. Extra innings when didn't necessarily expect that. And the rain came, which came out of nowhere as well. Slurve outside, 2-1 on Jamal Howard.
Yeah, he's starting to scuffle a little bit.
Leo has officially taken off the sweatshirt.
Okay.
There you go. Maybe he was kind of in the mindset, I'm probably not going to come in. Maybe they told him, unless there's real damage here, you're not. There he is. Jones, Stroll, Darnell, Atwood, Martin, Leo, all believed to be available here today. Depending on where the starters piece together in the doubleheader.
Ooh.
Good play by De La Cruz, and
oh, he's hurt.
Aye.
Yeah, he went down like he got shot there. I mean, that jumped up and bit him. That's one of those things where you don't even know what happens right away. It's just you fell on the ground, and then it takes you a second to even realize what happened. Hate to see that.
Gonna lead to the first out here. Not sure we're gonna really be able to see it on our replay monitor.
Hopefully it's more of just the cramp variety, because he was sitting around. He didn't start the game, and hopefully it's more just the cramp variety as opposed to really tearing or pulling a muscle.
Looks like that's going to be it as well for Jamon Taylor, as Nick Leo is going to come in for him here.
Well, it's good that he's to his feet at least.
At this point, it looks to be a bit more than a cramp, but you never
yeah,
wanna...
just the way he's straightening his leg, it doesn't look great. And they'd be working it out more if it was a cramp, I think.
So Jamon Taylor gives up his only 2 runs here in the 6th inning. Him and Paul Nochi share a smile. Nick Leo joking with Jake Hoover. That's the luxury when you're the top team in the playoff push standings and you have a 9-2 lead here on a fine Thursday night.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First. You have our attention 24/7.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Nick Leo coming on in relief of Jamon Taylor here tonight. So Taylor gives up 2 runs off the home run to Scott Capers. Leo, another guy with a tiny ERA, .96 through 6 appearances And it would be even better if he didn't have that one start.
He's a talented arm out of the Texas organization. Regularly sits in the low 90s with his fastball. Plus slider.
And I say that, and it sounds like, oh, he gave up 5 runs on the start. He gave up 1, but
right.
That's the only time he's given up a run this year, where he went 3 innings, walked 2, and struck out 5. That was actually a pretty important game. I believe he was our player of the game that night.
Right.
Player of the game tonight, sponsored by Comcast Business. Stick around in our Auto Lab post-game show to see who takes those honors home tonight. 1-2 to Haffey, straightened up the fastball at 92. This is a little bit different change of pace, going from Taylor to Leo. Guy whose fastball is topped out at 93 this year on both the 2-seam and the 4-seam. The even count, got him.
So tough on righties too, because he really strides toward the right-hander's batter's box. Ball feels like it's coming from behind you.
Haffey 0 for 3 tonight with a couple Ks and a ground out.
The second baseman, number 13, Landon Barnes.
Shane Solomon on YouTube says you guys are great on YouTube. Shane from Roseville. Thanks, Shane. Appreciate you watching here today. Another Eastsider catching in a game.
I was just in Roseville recently, and you'll never believe where I went, because you're younger than me, so you probably don't go to places like this. Have you ever rented a video before?
Oh yeah, I mean when I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were
Family Video.
Okay. Yeah, there's a Family Video right by my house in Livonia.
Okay.
I used to do that all the time. Actually, we had a Blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
And maybe a Family Video, right? I mean, that's not too far from you, too, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Right on Mac there in St. Clair Shores.
Yeah, by the Little Caesars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2.
That Family Video went out of business. The one that you're speaking of went out of business maybe a year ago. Not much more than that. I
used to be a very picky eater when I was a child, and it was breadsticks and mac and cheese.
Did you get like crazy bread from Little Caesars? Okay.
So it was that and the movie.
Wow, not bad. There was a routine of video stores being next to pizza places that was very common.
Makes sense.
A long time, yeah.
1-2 on Landon Barnes. Leo's retired the first man he's faced. They're trying to record 3 straight after the home run. Hot shot. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Hoisted foul. Were you a picky eater growing up?
No. I ate everything. Except some of the really healthy stuff. I guess I didn't eat, like the green vegetables, but outside of that, I was a big eater.
That's exactly what Dan Griesbaum Sr. wanted you to eat.
I know. He is a much healthier eater than I am, even now. Spent a lot of time in ballparks in my adult life, so I haven't always stuck to the things I should.
It's not easy sometimes.
No.
Got to avoid eating at night, too.
Yeah, that's awfully hard in baseball.
You're just a whole new level of awake. Even if you think you're tired when you're here.
Sure.
You get home, it's a different story. Check swing did not go. 2-2 on Landon Barnes. Like it just, the adrenaline of going. You have to keep yourself up to a certain level, and then.
More often than not, my 2 older kids are awake when I get home too, because they want to see me, and they try to stay awake, and of course they like to be awake anyway, like kids tend to be.
Well hit! Wow,
Ooh.
Hoover nearly gazelled that one into his glove.
Nearly found his way into the top 10.
The single for Landon Barnes, he deserved it after that AB against a guy throwing 92+ here tonight.
Yep.
It's like, you failed me, the glove. He was really close to making that play.
So I don't know that we'll get back to that DH spot in the order again, but I can't help but wonder who's going to hit in that spot, assuming that Howard came out of the game. Ben McKendall? Used to be a third baseman.
Could be. Yeah, third baseman up until his first JUCO game. Then he gave up 3 errors. And that was it.
Right.
Coach said that you're gonna be pitcher only from now on.
Dazon Cole, maybe? He was a good college player.
1-1 on Keandre Jones.
Well, best wishes to Howard there. Hopefully that's not something that sidelines him the rest of the way.
Yeah, it didn't look great. I don't know if it's something you can call non-contact per se. It could have been how he was running. Like you mentioned, it could be the fact that he didn't really stretch much before he took that at-bat.
You know, some of these guys who are really talented players, like, you know, the vast majority of these guys are, they don't have much experience with sitting the bench, you know, whereas someone who's more of a grinder, I guess, like I was when I played, you know, we have a fair amount of experience being on the bench and playing different roles, and when you do that more often, you get used to a better routine where you're maybe taking a jog every once in a while, you're stretching, you're swinging the bat between innings, you're doing things to stay warm, and now that it's getting a little bit cooler too, it's even tougher to stay warm.
Pontius feeds to second just in time, and that will end the threat. Really tagged 2-run home run to left by Scott Capers splits into this lead a little bit. It's 9-2. The race coming up.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels, start your engines.
Now here they come. It's a 4-car race. 4-car. PD
Pickup looks good right now. Good stride.
It's a tight group right now.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we see some more paint traded here this evening.
Camaro's taking the lead.
PD Pickup does just that. Oh no.
Uh-oh, spin out.
Wow. Corey Vett showboating.
Indeed.
As he takes your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers race here tonight. Well, maybe this answers your question. Dazon Cole pitching, so I'm not sure we'll see him hit if that spot comes up. I guess you could just get rid of the DH.
He'd be right in the spot, yeah.
You could. I could see it, but I'm going to have to rally a little bit to get back there. That would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 batters come to the plate, which might not be the case, but we'll see. All 4 pitchers used, probably much more than Paul Nickenbrugger would have hoped coming into the game tonight, with 5 arms used yesterday. Trevor McKinley, Jordan Pontius, Miles Miller, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here. Did look up Dazon Cole's collegiate numbers in 3 years with Central Michigan. He hit 250 and 333 ABs.
You got to be okay to rack up 333 ABs. Have any home runs?
Let's see. He had 1 home run.
Okay. He steal any bags?
11 doubles. 12 steals.
Okay. So, better pitcher, which is why he's here.
I just can't picture him hitting right now. It's hard when you see these guys pitch and pitch and pitch.
Right.
that's not a rip or anything. I mean,
No.
it's just weird to think about.
Right.
Just like it's weird to see Justin Verlander bat or Max Scherzer.
That definitely was weird. I think the best one I saw was I went with the Tigers to Wrigley in 2006, and Fernando Rodney threw 2 innings of relief and ended up hitting. And I think Fernando Rodney hitting was the funniest thing I saw.
What'd it look like?
It looked like, like somebody trying to swing a broomstick opposite-handed. I mean, it was just nothing looked normal or right about it. He was laughing the whole time. It didn't look like a major league game.
If you're wondering, Fernando Rodney has a 0 batting average.
How many ABs? 2?
Wait a minute. 1.
That was it.
You saw his only at bat
only one at Wrigley Field.
Did you take a picture?
No, I guess I should have.
With your flip phone?
That man's had a long career to have only one at bat.
That was. Does this line up? This was 2006.
2006, yeah.
That's what you said. Yeah.
I don't just make up tales here, Jeremy.
I'm just fact checking you. If you wavered, I was going to be like, well, wait now.
No. I think the Tigers won that game about 20-0, as I recall. I'm sure that's not quite accurate, but it's a blowout win. During the Tigers' good years there, they really flooded Wrigley Field with orange.
Seems like Detroit fans in general do a pretty good job of.
They do. Red Wings travel really well. Interested to see the first time the Lions play in Vegas.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
It's going to be well attended, I think.
Popped it up to left. Okay, so 20-0 is pretty off.
Okay. You found the game?
June 17th, 2006, 9-3.
Okay.
Tigers win.
So the easy win holds true, but
looks like he made contact though.
Foul ball? Or he put it in play?
Yeah, it doesn't say strikeout.
Okay, I didn't remember that part of it.
Maybe he bunted or something. That might have been more memorable though.
Yeah, I guess if it doesn't say strikeout, I guess he must have put it in play.
Here's baseball reference for you.
I guess
That's just about everything.
Can't you find that game and then look at the play-by-play and see what he actually did? Isn't that part of it? Baseball reference, it really is a wonder. It is a wonder of a website. It really is. I mean, they have games going back 100 years with detail like that, play-by-play kind of stuff.
This one in for strike 2. Miles Miller today. Fielder's choice, a single and a pop-out, and now a strikeout with the occupied bag down on first.
It's about as tough of a pitch as a left-hander can see, that hard slider in.
The shortstop, number 44, Jake Hoover.
So you're really going to make me do this here. I have the play-by-play.
Well, it's got to be late in the game, right? Seventh, 8th inning. You're going to tell me he hit a home run now or something.
No, I mean, it said he was over, so. It says Fernando Rodney replaces Omar Infante, pitching and batting 6th.
One of those double switch deals?
Yep.
Which you won't see anymore, I guess.
Runner in motion to second base. Able to get there.
So that's just when he came in the game. Then you'll have to find his at bat, which is probably later.
He faced David Aardsma.
Okay.
With 2 outs in a 9-1 game, and he grounded out to the pitcher. There you go.
All right. I would have thought for sure he struck out, but.
June 17th, 2006, in case any of you missed it.
They did replay some of those games over the quarantine, those 2006 games at Wrigley.
1-1 on the ground to the third baseman, Briggs. Nice scoop there. Hop, step, throw over to first base, and that completes the top of the 7th inning here. The Mammoths looking to really get the bats going if they want to come back in this one. But for now, it's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, brought to you by Genesis Credit Union here in the 7th inning. There's your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch. Nicolao on for his 2nd inning of work here. He did face 3 batters and got 2 outs in the 6th. He'll face 9-1-2, McCoy, Oland, and Johnson.
Well, Hoppers would certainly like to end it with Nicolao right here and not have to get into anyone else in the bullpen.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning, the center fielder, number 4, Andrew McCoy.
McCoy 0 for 2 today, ground out in a fly out to right field. Back on the air tomorrow here on the USPBL Network. Really good pitching matchup. Ty Hensley, Garrett Crispin going at it. Boy, was that one for the ages the last time they battled. It ended up going to extra innings and ended in a Unicorns win. Ty Hensley went 7. After he came out in the 6th, Garrett Crispin still had a no-hitter. A long layoff, and Hensley didn't look like he lost a beat. Retired him 1-2-3 in the 7th. Steve McDonald will fill in for me as he calls the game with Dan Griesbaum Jr. 6:50 pregame show here on the USPBL Network. Alec Oland, pair of singles in the 1st and 5th innings. First pitch downstairs, Oland, nice swing his first time up. Also able to get a single in the 5th. Quick feet. Slithering back in is McCoy there.
Well, if you're McCoy, you certainly can't get picked in this situation, down 7 runs. Run doesn't mean a thing. Got to get a lot more guys to the bases.
Nick Leo, another guy who has some really good spin on his pitches. 4-seam fastball, 2,400. The slider, 2,660. And the 2-seam, 2,400. That slider, in terms of the average
that explodes.
Spin rate, is right up there with some of the best.
Yeah, that's got explosive movement.
That might be the best here in the USPBL in terms of...
Out of sliders, possibly. I know Hensley's curveball.
Yeah. What, he's averaging...
Close to 3. Yeah, close to 3,000. A little bit under. Oh, got him. Just barely. On the right on that. It looks like he's got a pad there on the elbow.
Runners on 1st and 2nd with Will Johnson. Well, Hoppers don't want this to be interesting here in the 7th.
Getting to the heart of the order here. See if they get anyone loose down there. See a little bit of throwing. Might be Austin Atwood.
I don't think that's Atwood. It's hard to tell who it is, though.
Stroll?
Could be. Outside to Will Johnson. Oh, it is Atwood. You were right.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's some big time stuff. Right?
Remember that one.
1-1 on Will Johnson. First and second with no outs. 9-2 lead for the Hoppers, and all of a sudden Nick Leo can't find the zone. Here's the 2-1. Floats in there for strike 2. Boy, that didn't seem like 91, did it?
Is that what it was?
Just kind of made its way into Xavier Warren's glove there.
Nice, easy 91. There's a slider.
Last thing he wants to do is walk Will Johnson here. Lamar Briggs is on deck. He's reached every time. Single, walk, walk. Scored a run his last time up on the Capers home run off his single. Here's the 3-2 to Johnson. Popped him up. Infield fly rule. Hoover will complete it for style points for the first out here in the 7th.
The center fielder, number 21, Lamar Briggs.
Well, this is going to be a big piece offensively for Paul Nickenbrugge's team going into the playoffs, probably close to the 300 mark now after his single in the 6th. Came in with a 292 average, worked his 8th and 9th walk of the season. That's 9 walks to 11 strikeouts. And Austin Atwood will get some work in here today as he'll face the heart of the order with 1 out. He's a Hoffman Dental pitching change here. Still 9-2 lead for the Diamond Hoppers here tonight.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event going on now at Crest Lincoln. Schedule your remote experience today or visit us here and learn what it means to have vehicle ownership on your terms.
Find some peace this summer in the luxury of the 2020 Lincoln Nautilus. Lease today for only $359 per month. Or drive in comfort and style in the 2020 Lincoln Continental. Lease today for only $361 per month.
Make a summer memory today. Visit us at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop now at crestlincoln.com.
Austin Atwood taking over here for the Diamond Hoppers in the 7th inning. 2 runners on with 1 out. Atwood, the 3rd arm used by Paul Noce here tonight, probably on the surface more than he thought after Jamon Taylor's outing. Sure, he didn't want to necessarily pull him in the 6th, but after the single and the home run just for precautionary reasons, and maybe not to just stretch him out too much. I mean, he was already nearing 90 on the pitch count.
I think he could have left Nick Leo in too, but he's probably just thinking, let's get him out of here. Let's save him a little bit for Saturday. May need him at some point on Saturday between those two games.
Atwood is not allowed to run in his last 2 appearances, where he has a combined inning and 2/3 work, a walk and a strikeout. 13 pitches and 20 pitches. His last 2 consecutively. Lamar Briggs has not gotten out. This might be the end of that streak. Gray watching it.
Oh, got another shot.
A walk in the first, a walk in the third, and a single in the 6th inning. Nine to 2 the lead for the Diamond Hoppers. 9-0 before the home run in the 6th inning.
And that man's waiting on deck.
Third home run of his USPBL career. He had a 2-homer game shortly after he got here. Here's a 2-1. In there for strike 2, and Briggs flustered. He didn't go after that.
I don't think he should be too hard on himself there. You don't have 2 strikes on you. If it's not a pitch you're ready for, you should take it.
See what he goes with. 2-2. Change up, lifted to right, and right there is Pontius to catch the second out of the inning.
And he'll have to go through Mr. Capers to end this one.
Scott Capers. Bats with runners on first and second here and 2 outs. The pitch on the corner for strike 1. Stick around for the Autolab post-game show. We'll name our Comcast Business Player of the Game from the United Shore Media Desk. 0-1, popped him foul. 0-2 on Scott Capers. Certainly a big piece to this Mammoths team going forward, has allowed them their sure bet at a starter at the catching position. Swing and a miss. Got him on strikes here. Austin Atwood able to nail home the victory. Pop out and a strikeout as he retires 2 of the better hitters in this lineup in Briggs and Capers here tonight. And it's a big-time win for the Diamond Hoppers.
Great job there by Austin Atwood. Really well-placed breaking balls and was aggressive going after the heart of this order. Really big win for the Hoppers. I mean, they needed this one. It's hard to say you necessarily need one when you're tied for first place, but they really did. They didn't have the tiebreaker, and now this puts the pressure right back on the Unicorns. Tomorrow night's game will be exciting. Heck of a pitching matchup, and the Unicorns will need to win that ballgame.
Just a couple blemishes to this season and the push to the playoff standings, both against the Beavers. They fight off these Westside Woolly Mammoths here today as they drop 2 straight, going back to yesterday. Autolab post-game show. When we get back, those Hoppers having some fun.
Diamond Hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline, warming up the benches. Need a lesson, I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a Diamond Hopper fan, point 'em out, ayy. Fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out, ayy. Every time we score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same time in. Let's rock. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether like you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy, build a boundless future.
It's the summer event of the season, and quite possibly the only event of the season. It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event, going on now at Crest Lincoln.
Travel further for less and drive the 2020 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid. Lease today for only $323 per month. Or ride in the luxury of the all-new 2020 Lincoln Corsair. Lease today for only $341 per month.
Make a new summer memory today. Visit Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop today at crestlincoln.com.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
We really were fortunate to get out when we did. Losing our family photos, our wedding pictures, can't replace it.
Can you imagine losing everything you've got? You realize that it's the little things in life that matter. Things that they thought were damaged and thrown away, all of a sudden they magically reappear. And you see the human spirit come back. To be able to put you safely back in your home matters to us. People matter. People count. At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Here tonight, as we welcome you to the United Shore Media Desk, here with our Comcast Business Player of the Game is Jamon Taylor. Here tonight, the winning pitcher for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. They pick up a big-time 9-2 victory. And for you guys, I wouldn't call it a must-win, but you want to, stay in that upper echelon in terms of trying to snatch that #1 seed. So it's a huge win tonight.
Yeah, indeed. I watched the game last night. I see the Unicorns tied us.
Yeah.
So every game is important. I think the best opportunity we have is to win out. So that's the goal.
Pretty good start for you here tonight. 5 1/3 innings overall. 5 hits given up, 2 runs. Just kind of the one mistake maybe on the home run, but overall something we kind of talked about before we went on air here today. Something different that you face now, especially in these night games. Some long innings by your team. You got to stay warm all of a sudden, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I was headed down back and forth to the bullpen, trying to stay warm, walking around in the dugout, doing a couple stretches, using the little Theragun thing. So doing anything to stay warm, basically.
You love to see your team put together some good innings offensively, though, like they did today.
Yes, indeed. It gives you confidence. The extra, just knowing your team has your back offensively, it just helps you go out there and get more outs on defense.
Locating was kind of one of your goals here today. You did that pretty well. Some good at-bats by the Mammoths, so that didn't really show early on in terms of what they were able to put together.
Yeah, definitely. I think 1 through 9, that's a pretty tough team to get out. I had to squeeze in a couple of inside fastballs there to help me put away hitters and things like that, and just really try to locate and help them, make them get themselves out. So
I know we've talked about it in the past in terms of your slurve, obviously the morph between the curveball and the slider, not really caring exactly how the break was, but velocity tonight, it was kind of high range, 71 to 77. You think it kind of had both breaks at times?
Definitely. I would say the higher range is definitely that slider, and then lower is that curveball. But just trying to make adjustments, get hitters out, just trying to throw it harder, some at bat, some pitches, and then just let it kind of float in other pitches.
What do you think you guys need to do to hopefully snatch that #1 seed? Big game on Saturday as well.
Just be consistent, just ride this wave, hopefully the guys, take this confidence into Saturday, and then we just pull out 2 wins there.
Well, thanks for stopping by with us here today. Jamon Taylor's your Comcast Business Player of the Game here in our Auto Lab post-game show. Big-time pitching matchup tomorrow as well. It's Garrett Chrisman and Ty Hensley. Pre-game show at 6:50 here on the USPBL Network as the Beavers take on the Unicorns. Have a great night, everybody.